Video, we're going to do another viewer slash subscriber request, and we're going to do a rewind review of Cloverfield. Okay, guys, welcome back. Just give me a second here. Let me adjust my my little microphone. Oh, there we go. All right. So Cloverfield. You know, when I first saw the trailer for this movie, I went ballistic because I remember it debuted in front of Transformers, and I thought it was a commercial. You know, they show commercials now in the theater, so I thought it was a commercial until the lights started flickering and you hear a monster roar in the background, and everybody's like, "What the hell's going on?" And then the trailer ensued where the explosion and people running down the staircase, and then you hear the big roar, and then you see the Statue of Liberty head, and then it cuts off. Then you see the Bad Robot production, and then from that moment forward, it was crazy on the internet looking for, all these different clues. People thought it was a Voltron movie. People thought it was Cthulhu movie. People thought it was, oh God, those are the two most common things. Or people thought it was another Godzilla movie. Those were like the three major assumptions that people made when the first trailer came out. And then, there was a guy in the trailer that said, "I saw it. It's alive. It's huge." But he said it so quick. He sounds like he's saying, "I saw it. It's a lion. It's huge." And that's when people thought it was. That's when people thought it was a Voltron movie. Then the Cthulhu started because they released a website, couple of websites that were linked to the movie, and there was one where there was, I think, a Japanese construction company or something of that nature, where they tell a little story about the company. It's a fictional company. They dug too deep and they used something that was in the water to make their slusho drinks, and they showed a picture of like a monster. It was like the logo for the slusho, and it looked like a tentacled monster and this and that. And that's when people thought it was Cthulhu. And then obviously Godzilla, because it's a monster movie. So from about August to like the release of the movie was in January. Now, in my opinion, the viral connection and the viral leaks and all the clues and all the mystery did far better than the actual movie itself. That's not to say it's a bad movie. I actually enjoy Cloverfield. It's very different. It's a very unique monster design. Not something I think you can put together with other kaijus. Like, you can't put Clover in a movie with Godzilla. This Godzilla would destroy him. Plus, I don't think Clover was that big. But I do remember them saying that Clover was like an infant, so there was room for expansion. Now, I don't know if they're ever going to make a sequel. They've always flirted with the idea. They said they would like to revisit that world from a different perspective. And then in a recent interview, J.J. Abrams, in not so many words, sounded like he was done with the project. It didn't do too bad in terms of money versus budget. I think the budget for the movie was like $5 or $10 million, and they made about maybe 80 domestically, which that ratio is excellent. But when you consider the prices of tickets these days, and even some of the more mediocre movies can crack 150 million, 100 million, it didn't really do that well. I think the biggest problem with this movie wasn't the fact that it wasn't unique and the story wasn't good, and I think it suffered from the camera. A lot of people don't like the live camera, found footage kind of stuff unless it's done for certain movies. In a movie like this, where there are people running and going crazy and there's a monster, it doesn't really work too much because there's too much camera jumping. You don't get to see the monster as much as you like. And then after a while, it becomes a little unbelievable that in the middle of a monster crisis, somebody just happens to be carrying a camera the whole time and filming everything. I mean, there's a scene in the movie where T.J. Miller, he plays HUD, the guy who's holding the camera. They're running in a in a train station away from these monsters, and he's holding the camera the whole time. I mean, that's just not realistic. And I'm not saying that every movie has to have some sense of realism, because basically I enjoy going into the movie and just escaping reality altogether. But you gotta keep a little bit of realism in there. So I think that's what caused the issue for this movie as to people whether or not they liked it. Now, me personally, I liked it just because it was different. I like giant monsters, and for the times that you do see Clover, it was pretty cool. Very unique design, very alien-like, and I think if they ever revisit this movie, they need to answer more questions. They need to stop the motion camera. That this doesn't work for a monster movie, in my opinion. It works for movies like Paranormal Activity or Blair Witch Project because there's not as much of that going on. And where in this movie, you got military fighting, you got a monster trash in the city, you got people running all over the place. It's hard to pass a movie. It's hard to do a movie like that with a real life camera. The actors were good. I think out of that movie, I think there's 3 actors in that movie that you still see around now. Primarily, the one I think that has the most popularity now of that group is probably T.J. Miller. He's kind of all over the place now. He's doing the cell phone commercial. I forgot which carrier, but he plays like the cell phone, and and the people are talking to him, giving him commands. He was also in Gulliver's Travels with Jack Black. He's been in a lot of different projects. And there's 2 other female actresses. I can't remember their names, but one of them was in the Marvel one-shot for the Avengers, the one where the 2 people were robbing a bank with the Chitauri weapon. The girl there, she's the one that explodes in the tent. And then there's one more girl who plays the primary girl that the guy is looking for. I think her name is Beth in the movie. And she was in a scary movie, some sort of horror movie. I can't remember the name, but I don't remember their names, but you might know who I'm talking about. Now, in terms of the movie itself, it's really hard to I don't want to say it's hard to review the movie, but it's really no plot. You don't know where the monster came from. You don't know why it's there. You don't know, you don't know what the deal is. All you know is that this damn thing pops up and starts wreaking havoc. It's a very basic survival movie. It seemed almost impossible for them to get out of the city. Obviously, looking for somebody makes that impossible, but it's almost like in every direction they went, the monster was around, which, being from New York and knowing where they went to the Brooklyn Bridge, the monster was there. Before they went to the Brooklyn Bridge, they were in the middle of the city, the monster was there. So it's almost like the monster was following them. But, they go to the military camp where they're trying to escape, the monster's there. They're on the helicopter flying away from the city. You can see the monster. Then next you know, the monster jumps in. So it's almost like the monster gravitated towards the characters. And I think that was a little too pushed too hard. I mean, if you want to be realistic, the monster and the military are probably going to be focusing on each other more than anything. So to have this monster constantly be around the main characters as if it's following them is kind of ridiculous. And that's why I think it would be hard to do another movie like this with a found footage from a different perspective, because the whole movie, Clover is following these characters, so the other people filming from a different perspective are not going to see the monster as much. It was a different movie. It was enjoyable. I don't think it lived up to its expectations. Like I said, I had more fun looking at all the web links and all the leaks and all the little breadcrumbs that are being left around. I had more fun with that than I did with the movie. I thought the concept of the parasites was really cool. That's one of the things I did like, and how that when you get bit by one of its parasites, you get sick and something happens to you where you just like, obviously you saw Marlena, I think her name is Marlene or Marlena. She gets really sick and she just pops open and explodes. And, but so that concept was cool. The movie, I think it just was touted higher than it was bringing to the movie. Like their marketing was it was too good. The marketing of the movie was too good for the movie to succeed, especially considering it was a low budget movie. It was just too good. And it doesn't mean the movie was bad, because like I said, I liked the movie overall. I thought there were some really good, unique things about it. But when you hype it up the way they did, and you're not bringing a movie like Gareth Edwards maybe bringing Godzilla or whatever, you're bound to fail. And I think the movie made money regardless. So in terms of percentages, they were a success. But I don't know. I mean, 70 million, 80 million domestically for a movie that everybody's going nuts about, wasn't that great. But I thought it was cool. I thought, like I said, the monster design was very unique, very different. I love when a monster trashes the city either way. I thought the scene where they crash in the helicopter and HUD gets the camera and the monster's right there. I mean, personally, I'm not going to freeze. I probably would have ran between its legs to avoid it. But then he picks up HUD and he kind of chomps on him. And if you look carefully, I remember pausing that scene like several times because you see HUD's body parts just fall apart. So, but I mean, look, overall, it was a good movie. It was too hyped. And that's why I think it wasn't as successful. And there were just too many questions unanswered. And I know J.J. Abrams likes mystery and stuff like that, but I think sometimes he goes a little too far. And I'm a big J.J. Abrams fan. I love his work. But I think he goes too far with the mystery. I think after a while, you need to answer questions. You need to let people know what's going on. And this movie just had too many open questions that were unanswered. Sometimes that can turn people off. So I think overall it's a good movie, but I think it could have been better. I think they overmarketed. I think they didn't deliver on that, and I think they just left too many questions open without answers, and that can frustrate people. And I think maybe that's why they're not making a sequel. They probably figured too many people were just not into the whole thing because of so many different elements that made it fail in some people's eyes. So, but I think it's a classic attempt at a kaiju film, and who knows? Maybe after Godzilla, J.J. Abrams will get a little inspired and come out with something a little bit better. And he needs to learn how to answer the mystery sometimes. That's not such a bad thing. I think leaving people hanging the way he tends to sometimes can backfire on him. But we'll see. So overall, it was a good movie. I do like to watch it every now and then from time to time, but it could have been better. I thought it didn't live up to its marketing, and it just failed in terms of plot and answering some questions. And that's it. So those are my thoughts on Cloverfield. Hope you guys enjoy this video. Share your thoughts on the movie. I definitely want to know what you guys think of it, and would you like to see a sequel? And I will see you next video. Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk. I'm your host Rob, and this video we're going to do another viewer/subscriber request, and we're going to do a rewind review of Cloverfield. Okay guys, welcome back. Just give me a second here. Let me adjust my my little microphone. Oh, there we go. All right, so Cloverfield. When I first saw the trailer for this movie, I went ballistic because I remember it debuted in front of Transformers, and I thought it was a commercial. They show commercials now in the theater. So I thought it was a commercial until the lights started flickering and you hear a monster roar in the background and everybody's like, what the hell's going on? And then the trailer ensued where the explosion and people running down the staircase, and then you hear the big roar, and then you see the Statue of Liberty head, and then it cuts off. Then you see the Bad Robot production, and then from that moment forward, it was crazy on the internet looking for, all these different clues. People thought it was a Voltron movie. People thought it was Cthulhu movie. People thought it was, oh God, those are the two most common things. Or people thought it was another Godzilla movie. Those were like the three major assumptions that people made when the first trailer came out. And then, there was a guy in the trailer that said, I saw it, it's alive, it's huge.